I'm happy to be back again doing another webinar. Um, like she said, I have grown. I went from in-person training. I actually still do in-person training. My system right now is more of a hybrid program where I have in-person clients as well as online clients. I don't think I'll ever give up training in person because I just really like that one-to-one connection. But the bulk of my business is online. So no matter what your following is, no matter if you're doing like a high ticket offer, low ticket, mid ticket, none of that matters unless you have a system in place that supports that allows your lead to go through seamlessly and get to the end, which is your offer. And so that is what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so as we move into the first section, the roadmap, we're going to talk about nailing your niche, how to define your perfect client and stand out from the crowd. We'll go through crafting your messaging and what that looks like, creating lead magnets that attract your ideal client, building out your funnel, nurturing those people that go through your funnel, and then closing the client. Okay, so before we get into step one, we're going to do a poll. And I would like to know if you have nailed down your niche or if it's something that you're still working on. So, if you've been in this for a while and you know exactly who you're speaking to, maybe you're new and you're still trying to figure that out, or you're just trying to nail it down and make your niche smaller and more specific. So I'll let you guys answer that. And if you don't know what a niche is too, that's okay. Again, if you are brand spanking new to this, we'll briefly go over what that is and why it's important to have one. That is very specific, Xavier. That's great. That is great. Awesome. Okay, good. So a lot of you here know exactly who you're speaking to, which is good. Like that, I think that is the hardest part for a lot of coaches is nailing down who to speak to, who to target. And for those of you still trying to figure it out, we're going to go through some steps to help you get there. Okay, so why is it important to have a niche, and why speaking to everyone kind of holds you back? So when you speak to everyone, for example, if you are in the weight loss sector of fitness, speaking to everyone who wants to lose weight, that net is casted so wide, right? It can confuse your messaging. It can create a weak connection to who you want to speak to. And there are so many people in the weight loss sector of fitness, right? So you want to narrow that down to who do you specifically help? Is it women that need to lose weight? Is it stay-at-home moms, even smaller, that need to lose weight? So you want to narrow that down. And the benefits of that is you are able to speak to their specific pain points. Because again, using the weight loss example, everyone who needs to lose weight, they have different pain points. There might be some overlap, but there are still some different pain points that need to be addressed. You're able to build a stronger community. And you'll probably hear me say that a lot today, community, because we are in this era of social media and just the world really where community is so important. Like people are looking to find their people on socials, and build that space where they can feel comfortable, they can feel confident, and they can feel seen. So nailing down your niche and speaking to a specific person creates that community. You stand out from your competitors and you have a higher perceived level of knowledge and expertise in the field that you are in, right? So when you try to speak to everyone, you end up connecting with no one. So define who your specific client avatar is to maximize that impact and conversion. Okay. So how do we define who your perfect client avatar is. Most of you have done that, but for the ones that are still trying to figure that out, the first thing you want to think about is, what are you really good at, right? What is the one thing that you are confident in doing, right? And that thing that you're confident in doing, who does that help? Right. So here's some really good examples. Busy moms. Now, again, busy moms is still pretty generic because there are busy moms who are stay-at-home moms. There are busy moms who own businesses. There are busy moms who have a full-time career, right? Each of those different busy moms have different level of pain points. So you want to narrow that down even further. And so maybe you prioritize busy stay-at-home moms, right? Because you are a stay-at-home mom yourself, or maybe you used to be a stay-at-home mom, so you understand what her pain points are. What are the things that she's struggling with? What are her desires, right? You understand who she is. Okay, some other examples are executive professionals. And we have executive professionals in different age groups. Again, their pain points, their lifestyles are going to look different based on those age groups and genders. So again, be very specific. And then postpartum women, right? What do they need to feel? What are their pain points? You want to be very specific in who you are targeting. Okay. You want to choose one primary avatar, and that is who you want to dial in your messaging to. You can serve different people, right? You can serve the postpartum woman. You can serve the executive professional. You can serve the busy stay-at-home mom. But your program, your offer can help all of those three people, but you want to dial in on one very specific person that you feel absolutely confident speaking to, right? So you can build that community, build that connection, and nurture them. Okay. All right. So as we move on to the next slide. So once you have figured out who your person is and you're confident in who that person is, now we have to craft your messaging to speak to them, right? And so this messaging is going to show up in your content. It's going to show up in your emails. It's going to show up in your landing page. All of it should be seamless, and you should do this in all three of those pillars, okay? So the key things that you want to include in your messaging: what are the pain points of your avatar, right? What are the things that they're struggling with? Maybe they don't have time to work out. They feel uncomfortable in their body. They want to lose 30 pounds. They struggle with binge eating. They struggle with emotional eating. What are those pain points that they have, right? And then on the opposite end of that, what are the desires? They want sustainable habits that fit into their life, right? They want efficient workouts. Those moms that are stay-at-home moms, they can't make it to the gym. They don't have an hour, hour and a half to spend in the gym. They only got 20 to 30 minutes in between nap time, right? So their desire is, I need something that I can do quickly and that will get me the result that I'm looking for, right? That is the key thing. And we'll get to that in another slide, but I want you to keep in mind that a lot of times where we can go wrong as coaches is like listing out a bunch of things that our program offers, like one-on-one coaching, nutritional guidance, custom workouts, all of those things, which is great. But really, your avatar doesn't care about those things. They only care about the outcome. What can your program provide me, right? And then within the program, you deliver those things. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And then handling objections. So you want to make sure that you handle whatever doubts that they have, whatever questions that they have surrounding your program or any program approaching this. You want to answer those things and tackle them in your messaging. So once they get to your offer, whether it's, a low ticket, mid ticket, especially with high ticket, because I've done only high ticket, and you have to be really freaking good at selling and tackling those objections on that call in order to get that sale. So you want to tackle those objections before they even get to the end of your funnel. Okay. And that's going to show up again in your content, in your emails, and in your landing page. Okay. All right. So another poll. Do you currently have an offer that you're promoting, or are you still trying to figure that out? So you have your avatar. Most of you here know exactly who you're speaking to. Have you crafted out a program or an offer that speaks directly to them? Or are you trying to figure out what works? Are you doing? You can even include if you're doing like a high ticket, low ticket, if you know what that means. If you don't know, a low ticket offer is anything that's like $100 or less. So like a program, I don't know, 8-week program for like $97. That would be considered low ticket. A mid ticket offer would be maybe like a group coaching program, anywhere from $100 to $300 a month on reoccurring revenue. And then high ticket is anything 1,500 and up. That's more like one-on-one coaching. So you can let me know where you're at in that process. Awesome. Okay. All right. We're kind of split down the middle. Which is okay. Like, I will be honest, I have gone through a lot of versions of my offer. Is that for 12 weeks or 6 months? It depends, Xavier. And we'll go through those questions, but really like that depends. But yes, I've gone through different versions of my offer, and it might take you going through different versions and testing to see what works, to really solidify what your final offer is. So if you are new to this, like, if you're testing that out, that's okay. Test to see what works and stick with what works. Again, I will be honest, and I know there's, just speaking candidly, there's a lot of, ads out there. I'm pretty sure US coaches being on social media, you probably come across a lot of ads for coaches who coach coaches, right? And talking about high ticket offers and how to build your business around high ticket offers. Like, that's the big thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, I have done it, but I will say, don't hang your hat on that. You have to be really good at selling. You have to have a really good funnel. 9 times out of 10, you have to run ads for that. So if you're trying that out, I encourage you to do that, because it'll build your ability to communicate with people. It'll build your ability to overcome those objections in your messaging, because you've spoken to people directly. And that's a lot harder to do than just crafting it in your messaging. So if you are on that path, I say I still encourage you to try it out. And if, again, you're in this middle range of not sure which direction to go, try everything. Okay. So now that you've crafted your messaging, now we're going to create our offer. So your offer should identify who your client is, right? And most of you here already got that down, right? Your offer should connect with that person, right? So you want to build that community. Build the community around your avatar, and then offer the transformation. So in your offer, you want to have that targeted messaging. Speak to their pain points. They want to lose 30 pounds in 6 months, right? Or they want to overcome their binge eating, their emotional eating, whatever that pain point is. Postpartum moms, they feel very uncomfortable in their body. Their body feels foreign to them. They want to regain control of their body, right? Speak to those pain points and use language that they respond to. If you aren't sure how to do this, Chat GPT is your best friend. Do not sit and struggle and try to figure this out all on your own. Put those prompts into Chat GPT to help, kickstart your brain working and using the messaging and the language for your avatar. But you can ask Chat GPT, this is my client avatar, right? And list out those specifics, list out the demographics, list out their level of fitness and experience, list out what their pain points are, what lifestyle constraints that they have, right? Put that in Chat GPT and ask them, what are their desired outcomes? What is it that they need? What is it that they're looking for? Right. And Chat GPT will give you some pretty pretty good responses. Okay. So once you have that, now you want to create your offer, including that messaging. So let's use the postpartum mom, for example, right? That core offer that you have, right, is specific to their problems. So they want to um, rebuild their core. They want to feel confident in their body, but they can only work out at home because they have a newborn baby. So they can't go to the gym. So you are offering them, workouts that they can do in 30 minutes or less throughout the week, right? And your core offer provides them, and the desired outcome that it gives them, right, is that regaining of their confidence, right? It helps them lose their mommy pouch, right? Use language that they respond to, right? You know what the mommy pouch is, right? If that is your avatar, you know what that is, but you have to use the language that they respond to, right? And then show a transformation promise. If you don't have client transformations yet, that's okay. Use your own. Okay, use your own transformation until you build up a bank of client transformations that you can use as that social proof. But don't let that deter you if you're new and you don't have that. Okay. All right. So you have your avatar, you've solidified your messaging, you've built your offer. Now we have to attract people to that offer, right? And the easiest way to do that is through lead magnets. Now you can post on socials, and offer your program directly and say, you have your program for however much money, whatever it is, right? You can offer that directly. But the goal is to get those people off of social media. Because as we all know, social media is crowded with people, and people see offers almost every other swipe. You see an offer of something, right? And so you have to be really engaging. You have to have a really good hook, and you have to speak specifically to your person. And even when you do that, they still might not buy right away. Most of the times, they're not going to buy right away, right? So you want to get those people off of social media, and into your email list, into your community, and nurture them from there. So we do that through lead magnets. The right lead magnet will solve a specific problem for your ideal client. It shows your expertise, and is simple enough for them to consume quickly or at their own pace, depending on what you're doing. Now, I have done pretty much all of these lead magnets when I first started. And I still have a cheat sheet and a nutritional guide. And these are all free things. If you were unaware, these are all free things that you offer to get people off of social media. The cheat sheet and nutrition guide, it's easy. It's a 1 page, 2 pages at the most that you can craft to say, hey, if you are struggling with binge eating, emotional eating, I have a free 5-day nutrition guide that'll help you build habits to overcome that. Boom, easy, right? It gets people off of social media. You email them that guide. Now that they're in your community, you can continue to nurture them up into your main offer, which might be a group coaching program, for the binge eating, emotional eating, what have you, right? But the thing that I am finding, especially with the cheat sheets, the nutritional guides, like PDF versions of lead magnets, although they still work, a lot of people who get those, they're just looking for the freebie, for one, and two, there could be a gap in the connection. Right. And so the best way to have a connection is to show your face and to use your voice. And so if you are able to do like a pre-recorded training or webinar, something that's short, under 20 minutes, right? Or if you can build out here in FitBudd, if you have like a mini workout plan that you're offering, you record yourself doing those workouts, speaking in those videos. That way people become more familiar with who you are. They become familiar with your face. They become familiar hearing your voice. They get familiar with your personality, and they grow the connection by seeing that instead of just reading words on a page. So I would encourage you to kind of step outside of your comfort zone a bit if that is uncomfortable for you, and show up more on camera, even in your lead magnet. Um, about a few months ago, I did a free webinar, and I did run an ad to that. But that was my free lead magnet. And it was a 20-minute training breaking down the 4 habits, keeping women from their weight loss, right? And I broke down each of those habits, and I sent that webinar out, and it did really good. It did really, really good. So I would encourage you, show up more on camera, show your face, use your voice, right? Don't just opt for the easy way out, which is that PDF guide. It can still work, but again, we're about building community, and you do that by showing your face. Okay. All right. So once you figured out your lead magnet, you understand that the lead magnet is the front door to your business, right? So imagine if you had a brick and mortar, right? The lead magnet is the door. That's the thing that gets people inside of the door, right? Your email list is where you build that connection and you nurture them, right? Whether you're just, and we'll go over that in another slide, but you build that connection and nurture them through the email, right? And that's building trust, because people aren't back in like 2020, around like COVID times, when like I started to build my platform. And during that era, like people were just looking for stuff, right? It was kind of easy to sell people without building a sense of community, building a sense of connection. Like people just, they were buying stuff because we were bored at home, nothing else to do. But now with AI and with everybody out here just selling things, people need a little bit more than that. They need more than the aesthetics. They need more than just you saying, hey, I got this thing. They need to know who you are. They need to build that trust, and they need to be a part of your community. And so that's how you do that, by starting with your lead magnet. Okay. All right. So you've got your avatar. You've figured out how you're going to speak to your avatar. You've created your offer specifically for your avatar, right? Figured out how you're going to get them in the door. And now we have to map out from beginning how they enter the door all the way to the end where they come sit down at your hypothetical desk and buy your program. Okay. So the first part of that is creating a landing page. Do not be intimidated by this. There are plenty of platforms out there that have like pre-built templates for landing pages. You can Google them and find them. There are a lot out there. Okay. So you want to create your landing page. You want to have a compelling headline, and your headline really should be what your program offers, the desire is, and calls out your avatar. Busy moms stay at home busy moms over 30. I will help you lose blah, 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 whatever it is, right? So that headline should be at the top so they know they're in the right place. Okay. So once they go through your landing page, you should have a space somewhere on your landing page where you can capture their email. And most likely that space is you offering your lead magnet. They have to insert their email in order to gain access to your lead magnet. You want to make sure you do that, because if you don't, then now you've just lost that contact, right? So you want to have that contact. After they go through that, there's a thank you page that 9 times out of 10 either shows your lead magnet or gives next step directions on downloading your lead magnet. You might have a soft call to action for your program or the first step to your program, what have you. But ideally, you want to say, thank you for opting in. Thank you for downloading. Here is your lead magnet, or here are the next steps to gain access to said lead magnet. Okay. Once they have that, now you want to stay top of mind, right? So for example, if your lead magnet is like a free 5-day mini workout plan, at least every other day, you want to be in their email inbox talking about what workout that you have in there, the importance of them doing that workout. You want to keep talking to them, keep nurturing them, staying top of mind, right? And at the end of that time frame, again, whether it's that 5-day workout plan you have, maybe it's a 14-day challenge, what have you, right? At the end of that time frame, you want to give them your offer, right? So every message that you send should lead up to what your offer is. You should be nurturing them enough so they're like, okay, I trust this person. This person knows what they're talking about. right? Stay on the top of mind. So when you present that offer in the email, you will have higher conversion. Okay. You want your funnel to be simple. You want it to be easy. And you don't want your avatar, your lead going to a bunch of different places. Like I've gone through funnels myself where the person will email me and they send me like a school link, but in their school program they have other links to go here. It's too much. You want to take them to one spot. Okay. Keep it simple. Okay, so these are the must-have elements again for each funnel page. You don't need a bunch of pages. If ideally 2 pages is enough. But you want to have your landing page, again, clear headline, strong call to action. What do you want them to do? You want them to download your free guide. You want them to join your community. You want them to join your challenge. What is the call to action? Right? You can include that benefits list, but include that in like the second or third folds of your landing page. The top of your landing page should call out your avatar. It should call out the desire, show some social proof at the top if you can, whether it's yours or again, if you have client testimonials, show that in the beginning. And then include your benefit list toward the end, because again, your lead doesn't care how you deliver it for the most part. Now, if you say your program is for like CrossFit, right? You wouldn't be targeting like busy moms wouldn't want that. So if you're listing out all of these things that CrossFitters do, right, it can be intimidating. So put that at the end. An email capture, again, so add a simple form for them to put in their name and their email. That's really all you need. You don't need them to put in a phone number, address, unless you're sending them something, but just a name and email for them to opt in to get access to your lead magnet. Okay. Your thank you page should include how they're going to get access to that, whether it's an immediate download or they're going to get an email to, download the email to download your lead magnet, or it's just on that thank you page. When I did my webinar, my landing page included, headline, CTA, all of that. They put in their email. Once they opted in, that next page showed the live video. Simple. Okay. So once you do that, you're going to nurture them through email. Okay. You're going to stay top of mind. You're going to speak to their pain points. I would ideally craft a 3 to 5 email sequence that speaks to their pain points, speaks to their desires, tackles their objections, right? Again, we want to tackle what their doubts are, right? So you want to do all of that in your email sequence. And then on that 5th, 6th email is when you include your offer. Okay. Now the third page that you can include, which would be separate, is your offer page. So that is what you're going to put in that last email that you send out that includes your offer. You're going to have a separate link for what your actual offer is. And your offer page is going to be almost identical to your landing page. You still have that clear headline. You have your social proof. You have clear package details, toward the middle to bottom, but you want to lead with the desire. You want to lead with your social proof and client testimonials. Okay. You want to lead with that. And for both your landing page and your offer page, ideally your offer page though, because that's where people are spending money. If you can include a video of you talking about your offer, and I don't, if you guys are familiar, it's called a VSL, a video sales lead, right? You want to include that on your offer page because again, showing up more, showing your face, people hear your voice, they become more connected. Okay. If you just leave a bunch of copy on a page, they'll kind of skim through whatever. But if you have a video of you talking about it, they will be more engaged. Okay. All right. So again, getting people off of social media, we want to build the connection. You can build that community on Instagram, like a lot of people do it, but again, the best way, that's like the first step. once you have a community on Instagram, 9 times out of 10, most of those people are going to want to connect with you off of Instagram. Okay. So you want to educate them, give them valuable knowledge, because most people do look for knowledge. But if you just lead with all of that, you can kind of lose them. Have that social proof. So again, whether it's client results, or if you don't have any client results yet, show your own results and speak to what you did that worked and what you know that will work for them where they're at in their life, right? And include your personal story. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel, nervous about, because something that you've gone through in your life, there are other people that can relate to that. And again, that is how you build your community, by relating to people, by connecting with people and showing them, I'm just not this, face on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, wherever you're at. Like, I am a real person. This is what I have gone through in my life. This is what I am currently going through in my life. This is how I'm getting over it. I can help you do the same. Okay. So build that connection. Now with your emails, again, that first email when they opt into for your lead magnet, that's the welcome email. If you don't have your lead magnet on the next page after they opt in, it should be in that welcome email that they get. Okay, you want to thank them for downloading. Here's how you get access. Introduce who you are, right? Leading up to that offer, you want to provide additional tips. Or again, if you have if your lead magnet is like a sequenced workout plan or a sequenced recipe, right? You want to hit on whatever day that is. If they should be on day 2 of your mini workout plan, your email should be, hey, this is day 2 of said workout plan, and talk about what's happening, briefly talk about what's happening in there, and leave the link for them to go back to your lead magnet. You want to stay on top of mind for them. Okay. You also want to share personal experience. Again, whether that's your personal experience, which I would highly suggest that you do that at some point. You can break this up into 2 different emails. Sharing your personal experience, and then maybe sharing an experience of one of your clients. And honestly, if you don't have clients right now, I'm hesitant to say this because you shouldn't be lying to your avatar. You shouldn't be lying to people, right? So I don't want to say make up a story, but center a story around who your ideal lead and your ideal avatar is. If you don't have any client testimonials, and talk about what those steps would look like, but in story form. Okay. If you cannot provide a certain desire or a certain result, do not tell people that you can. Okay. You want to have some ethics and you want to be honest. So don't say, I can help you lose 30 pounds in 6 months if you know that you cannot do that. Okay. So don't lie to people. But again, show social proof through testimonials, sharing your own story or your client stories. And then at the end of that will be your offer. So whether that offer is leading them to your offer landing page, or if you're doing like a high ticket program and you're inviting them to a sales call, caveat, if you are doing high ticket, don't immediately invite them to a sale. One, don't say it's a sales call because you're just going to alienate them. Lead them to, whether it's like a free health assessment, right? You lead them to that. And that's really the call to see where they're at, talk to them or see what specifically they're struggling with. And then on that call, you determine, based on what they say, if you want to invite them to a sales call. But don't call it a sales call, call it, figure out a different term to use. What I did when I was just only leading with high ticket, I would invite them to a consultation, right? And that consultation was me speaking to them, seeing, again, what their struggles are, where they're at, getting to know them, they get to know me. And then at the end of that, I say, hey, why don't I'm going to give you this free health assessment, which was a link for them to like answer a few questions. It was like a jot form link. And I said, and we'll follow up in 2 days and we'll go through that health assessment together. So that health assessment call was really a sales call. They didn't know it was a sales call, but that's what it was, right? We went through that health assessment and I say, okay, hey, this is where you're at. Here's what I can do for you. Here's what that looks like, right? And that's how you do that. Okay, so that's if you're doing high ticket. If you're just like promoting like, an 8-week program or a group coaching program, you can include the link to the landing page, to the offer page for that program. Okay. All right. And that is how you turn leads into paying clients. You warm up that lead by engaging in engaging in your content. You get them off of social media. You get them into your email list, right? And you give them value. Okay. They get to know who you are. They understand what your expertise is. They build that trust. You and your messaging, you hit what their concerns are. You help them overcome their objections and make them feel confident that they can do this, right? You don't leave any room for error or excuse. And then they turn into that paying client. Okay. Successful conversations lead to conversion. Okay. So again, this is specifically if you are doing high ticket, not so much if you're doing low ticket, but you want to include this in, if you're doing low ticket and mid ticket, this should be included in your copy. But if you're doing high ticket and you're speaking to people, this is mainly for you. Okay. So what you don't want to do is make pushy pitches. So again, that pushy part is like if you're trying to get people on a Zoom call and say, hey, come to my sales call, right? Like that's kind of pushy, right? Or hey, like this is my offer, like this is the price. You don't want to be too pushy, and you don't want to lie. Again, you don't want to steer people wrong. You don't want to, tell them that you can do something that you can't. Okay. You don't want to use generic messaging. Again, you want to speak very specific to your person. Okay. Creating false scarcity, it can or cannot work. Again, you don't want to be too pushy with that. People aren't falling for that as much anymore, where you've seen people say, hey, I only have five spots available in my coaching program. People are picking up on that it's not true. Okay. So again, it can work. It has, I will be honest, it has worked for me in the past I did an email campaign where I was promoting my one-on-one coaching, and I said I have 5 spots available, but I will lend more, and out of I had probably about 30 people respond to that email, and out of those 30 people, about 6 people signed up, which is pretty good. And that was my high ticket offer. But I lend that more to them already having a connection with me as opposed to the false scarcity part. Because when I talked to all of those people, they didn't care about how many spots were left. They didn't even bring that up. It was more so, hey, I've gone through this program you did before, so I'm familiar with you, so I'm ready to take the next step with you and go one-on-one. Okay. And don't overwhelm them with different program options. What you want to do is introduce your offer as a natural solution to their problem. Share specific results that your program has achieved. Focus on the transformation and not just the features, not what you offer. And create urgency with authentic time limitations. Okay. And tackle their objections ahead of time. Okay. And this is how you handle your objections. So these are the most common objections that come up. I don't have time, right? They do have time, and that they have time. But again, you want to highlight that your program has efficient workouts. You want to highlight that they can get it done at home. You want to highlight that all they need is their phone, and they don't need a bunch of equipment, or they don't need to like log into a Zoom or whatever, right? Like you want to highlight the efficiency of your program. It's too expensive. Most of the time when people say it's too expensive, what they're really saying is they don't see the value in what you're offering, because people will pay a lot of money for things that they value. Okay, so that comes down to your messaging. But if they really can't afford it, then you have to tackle that objection by asking them, okay, if money wasn't on the table, would you opt into this? If the answer is yes, then come up with some sort of payment plan that will help them get to a cost that is effective, right? For both sides. And I'm afraid to fail, right? So this is where you share client testimonials. Show people that are similar to them and have a similar lifestyle that have seen the results that they're looking for. So they can say, okay, if that person did it and they were able to help that person, then I know I can do it too. Okay. And again, this should be in your messaging, but also if you're speaking to people one-on-one, you want to include this in those conversations too. Awesome. Okay. And that is it. That is it. I hope you guys took a lot of notes. I know we got through that kind of quickly, but if you guys I have been seeing questions pop in. So we'll go through.
Yeah. Thank you, Asia, for those powerful insights. I'm sure our coaches are walking away with strategies they can put into action right away. And to make sure you get even more value from today's session, we are moving into the final segment, as Asia just mentioned, the Q&A. So if you have any questions for Asia, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And while those start coming in, I'd like to take a quick moment to reintroduce FitBudd, especially for those who might have joined late or haven't explored the platform yet. In summary, FitBudd helps you grow your fitness business with the power of your branded app. Our platform is the only tool you'd ever need to seamlessly run your fitness business and build a robust digital brand. To experience how Fitbit can support your business, we invite you to start a 30-day free trial. You can simply schedule a demo with our team using the link that we'll drop in the chat.
Okay. I was just trying to scroll up to see the first question. Okay, someone said earlier in the beginning, I have offers, but they aren't sticking. I keep trying to refine them to see what will work. If you can drop in the chat, if you're comfortable with saying what those offers are, just so I can see and I can hopefully give you some guidance. Xavier, I'm tied between a community for low ticket or just doing high tickets, maybe funnel from community one. Yes. So this is what I'm doing right now, Xavier. I don't lead with my high ticket program anymore. I'm leading with a mid-ticket group coaching offer that is like a low monthly cost every month. And that program will lead people to my one-on-one. So once they've been in the group coaching, they're like, I need more of this. I need more of you. Then they can opt into my one-on-one group coaching. Because again, what I learned specifically from the email campaign that I talked about where, I sent out, hey, I only have 5 spots left for my high ticket. All of those people that opted into my high ticket program had done a previous program of mine. And so what that taught me is that nurturing those people and taking them through a mid-ticket level first. And it's so much easier to sell them on a high-ticket program. So I would encourage you to do that. Okay, I launched 3 weeks ago. I have 28 clients. Okay, girl, that's amazing. Yes, a mix of high ticket and low ticket. I feel like I need to add in additions to my offering to add value. Adjust it if I change my offer. If you don't mind also putting in the chat what your offer is, what your low ticket offer is, and what your high ticket. You don't have to say how much it is, but just like what are the features, what's the difference of offering between low ticket and high ticket. I think I need help with my pre-made workout plans for purchase as well. There are a lot of different ways you can do this. One, if you're using FitBudd, you can, if you are following a workout plan that has worked for you, use that as a base. Use that as the foundation for your workout plan. But then even past that, if you know who your avatar is and you know what their needs are, then use that as the next layer to create your workout plans. That's going to come down to your niche and your avatar, because if you know who they are, then you know what they need. Like if you're helping seniors, then you know the workouts that they need. So let me know if you know your niche, if you know your avatar, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay, how do you send out email? I use MailChimp. That is the service provider that I use. What platform are you using for the landing page? I use System.io. That is the platform that I use to customize my landing page. There are a bunch of different there's Thrivecart, there's Stand Store. I think even MailChimp has an option for you to create a landing page. Shopify, but if you want like a free version, System.io has a free version that you can use. Jay, I'm not sure what a GHL is. Can you let me know what that is? I don't know what you mean by that. How do you format a high ticket offer using FitBudd? Do you offer a 4-week or 12-week offer? Do you customize a monthly subscription? So for my high ticket, FitBudd is just a feature of my high ticket. So when I offer my high ticket program, essentially what I do is I lead them to my lead magnet, which at the time I was only doing high ticket. It was like a free consultation. And then I used that webinar as well. I was running ads to that webinar. On that landing page of that webinar, there was a link for them to schedule a free consultation. So, and I framed it as, we'll speak specifically about your needs and come up with a plan to help you moving forward. That was that consultation. On that consultation, we did that. And then again, I said, okay, hey, I'm going to send you a link for this health assessment. Go through that health assessment, and then we'll go over that health assessment together. Again, that was via Zoom on a call. Once they opted into my program, that is when they got access to FitBudd. As far as the monthly, like how you customize a monthly subscription, I always led with them paying in full. If they couldn't pay in full, then I came up with a payment plan that worked for them. I'm not sure what payment processing platform you use, but I use Stripe. And so in Stripe, you can create different payment links and payment plans in Stripe that fall under your FitBudd account, if that makes sense. So that's how I did that. What if your clients don't want to share photos of themselves? My own transformation is amazing, but I cannot share their photos without their permission. Okay, I get you, Ruby, because I have some clients that are the same way. I always tell them, one, that their photos will never be shared unless they give me permission to do that. Like I always tell them, like, these photos are for you to see your progress, because realistically and honestly, the best way for your clients to see their progress is by taking pictures, not by standing on the scale. So I always encourage them to do that. From there, if I want to use their pictures, I always ask and I say, hey, I would like to use your picture on website or social media. I will block your face out if you want me to. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to block their face out anyway. But just let them know, if they don't want you to share the photos, or if you're unsure if they want you to, ask for permission and tell them that you'll blur their face out. And if they're not comfortable with that, then continue using your own transformation to show that social proof. One-on-one is okay. What does group coaching look like? Is it chatting on Facebook? Just being there for questions? Nubia, that really depends on how you want to set it up. Group coaching can look different for everybody. And again, it is specific to your avatar and what they need. My group coaching, it includes a custom workout plan. It includes custom nutrition, and it includes weekly group coaching calls where we just continue to nurture that community, because my avatar is looking for a community specific to who they are. So those group coaching calls just build on that and answer any questions that have come up throughout the week. They're able to talk to other women within the program, whether that's getting support for them or just connecting with them, asking me questions. So it depends on what you are capable of doing and what you want to include in your group coaching. How do you build email campaign for leads who got into the lead magnet? So that depends on what email service provider you're using, but most of them have some sort of like automation journey. In MailChimp, it's called automation flows. So once they in FitBudd, every client is tagged specifically. So once you have connected MailChimp and FitBudd together, those tags will show up in MailChimp. So once they have opted into your free thing, if it's on FitBudd, then once you go over to MailChimp and create your welcome email, your audience will include that tag, if that makes sense, whatever that tag is. If they opted in on a different landing page, you should still create a tag for that person. So that way, when you create your email, your audience should include that tag. I hope that made sense. I help women over 30 achieve their best version without restrictions. Ruby, I would be even more specific, because there are a lot of women over 30 who fall into different categories. Again, there are women over 30 who work desk jobs. There are women over 30 who are stay-at-home moms. There are women over 30 who are postpartum moms. Be more specific with that. How do you use Stand Store landing page with FitBudd website or FitBudd payment plan? I think I'm not too familiar with Stand Store because I only have free things on there. But I believe that there is a section where you can add a link. If not, then just use a separate provider to build out your landing page to add your FitBudd payment link to that website. Because you might not be able to do that with Stand Store. But if you just have a free download, then use Stand Store for that, just to get those people off of social media into your email list. Yes, Go High Level is good. Go High Level can be a bit expensive, but yes, Go High Level is a really good space for funnels for sure. What system platform did you use for the webinar? So I recorded my webinar on Zoom. I created a Zoom meeting, and just like this Zoom is recording, I recorded the Zoom of me giving my presentation, literally just like this, just with no one in it. And then I downloaded that, edited it, and then I uploaded it to the landing page. Simple. I was trying to figure out how to put clients on a payment plan. Example, paid in full or 1,500, then make a payment plan. Yeah, Xavier, you would have to. There's a few different. Again, I use Stripe for that. So you can set up reoccurring payments for whatever your payment plan is. I believe there's also a way that you can do that in FitBudd too. Like you can. So whatever your program, right, is listed as a payment plan in FitBudd. Whatever your program is, you can offer different payments for that program. So you can have a paid in full option, or you can have the payment plan option, whatever that payment plan is for you. And then in FitBudd, you can set that as recurring. So that'll just come out automatically. Any advice for a kickboxing coach? I know there are bag workouts, but how successful do you see that avatar niche being? And any advice you can lend about promoting that? I think that's great. Again, kickboxing is very specific. So you've already got a good niche down. You would, and I don't know what their pain points are. I don't know what their desires are. I don't know what their lifestyle habits are. I would have that conversation in ChatGPT. Like, let ChatGPT know this is my potential avatar. Tell me what their pain points are. Tell me what their desires are. What are their lifestyle habits? What are they looking to achieve? And have ChatGPT help you nail that down, nail your messaging down. And then once you get that messaging, you should know how to create your offer from there. The platform that I missed for. So I recorded the webinar in Zoom and then downloaded that, edited that video, and then uploaded it to, I use System.io for my landing page. So in System.io, they allow you to just upload direct links. And so I just uploaded that direct link to the page. I do not do them live. I have done one, but my webinar was a pre-recorded webinar that was sent out as a lead magnet. Can you suggest how much to charge for a high ticket per month when starting out? So when I started my high ticket, it was a $1,200 program for 3 months. So that was about $400 a month. I've gone as high as $2,500, but when I first started, $1,200 for 3 months. That's $400 a month. And they got weekly one-on-one calls with me. I checked in with them every day via the app. So I would message them. I would be able to see how many steps they got, see if they completed a workout, see if they uploaded their nutrition. So I just had touch points with them every day. And they got that custom workout, custom nutrition. So that's what that looks like. Dominic, you work with moms, fighters, novices, but I don't want to throw that. Yeah, I wouldn't throw that wide net. But honestly, Dominic, like figure out what is the common denominator between all of them. Like there's something linking the moms, fighters, beginners. Like there's something linking them all together that's bringing them to you. Like they're all looking for something, right? So you don't have to lead with you help moms or you help fighters or you help beginners unless you want to, but find that common denominator that links them all together, and use that in your messaging. As far as the meal plans, can you alter them or is it always the same food? If you are speaking on like the custom meal plans that I offer, yeah, I would always update them based on like what they needed for the week. Because again, my clients, my avatar are women business owners and executives that are between the ages like 30 and 35. So a lot of them travel a lot. And so sticking to a meal plan every week is really unrealistic for them because they're always on the move. So they need more leeway and they need more flexibility with their meals. And so that's what I provide them, that flexibility. So it doesn't have to look the same if you don't want it. Again, this is going to come down to your person. To Matt Pilates. Okay, but I'm worried. I still have considered drop shipping. Okay, that is so drop shipping those Matt Pilates sets, that can be your unique delivery method, right? So say someone opts into your program. Once they opt in, whether they, depending on what your program looks like, if it's like a group coaching, a one-on-one, whatever it is, once they opt into that, then their welcome kit is that Matt Pilates set, right? That's really unique in specific. I don't think Matt Pilates is too narrow. You want it to be narrow. You want to, and it can be Matt Pilates for postpartum moms. Like that's going to help them rebuild their core, right? So that's really good. Like you've got a really good thing there. I'd stay on that. Keep working through that because that's really good. You're gonna have to upload your own meals in the app. That's what I do. You can add recipes. So I add my own recipes and add the pictures to those recipes. It's gonna take time, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
Asia, we're running out of time.
Okay.
So we'll wrap up the Q&A here. Thank you for your thoughtful questions, coaches, and for being such an engaged audience. And thank you for joining us for today's session. A big thanks to Asia for her valuable
Of course.
insights. You can
Of course.
watch another webinar of her, which she has done with us previously. You just need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have all the webinar replays, masterclass replays uploaded over there. So we look forward to seeing you in the next masterclass. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.